In Tech Watch, a massive cyber attack that started at a Miami-based IT company sent shockwaves worldwide after it impacted hundreds of businesses in the U.S. and in other countries. It's considered the single largest global ransomware attack on record, and it is linked to the Russia-based gang of cyber criminals called REvil, and the group is now demanding a $70 million payment to unlock the affected computers. So let us bring in CBSN technology reporter Dan Patterson to help break down what happened over the weekend. Some of us did not notice this because we were enjoying our holiday weekend, which is, I think, part of why it happened when it happened. But explain to us how this latest attack became so widespread, and explain to us the significance of the timing.
Hi, Anne-Marie. So the significance of the timing is that, look, we were all, or a lot of us were away from our computers, away from work, away from our desks. It's a perfect time to target machines that were already probably pretty vulnerable. The thing you should take away about REvil, this ransomware, this cybercrime ransomware group, is that they are Russian affiliated or have been linked to Russia and are kind of the mentor group of other cybercrime groups that we've heard about, like DarkSide. They create this fairly virulent strain of ransomware and were almost victims of their own success. Initially, they offered a decryptor key for about $5 million per victim, but that scaled up to $70 million when they, at least according to their dark website, posted that, hey, look, we can't service all of these clients that we hit. If you want to buy a universal decryptor, send us $70 million or 70 million worth of cryptocurrency. Now, this is kind of analogous to, think about a startup that has or experiences overnight success, right? They often can't scale to meet that demand. It's kind of what happened with this cybercrime group, or at least that appears to be what's happening now.
Do we know if it's REvil or REvil?
You know, the community seems pretty split about this. It is, when I interview sources and cybersecurity experts, it is definitely one of the questions I ask everyone, and that opinion is pretty split right now.
It's the GIF-GIF debate of the modern era. Anyways, this is not something to joke about. It's actually pretty serious. How are law enforcement agencies here in the U.S. and other countries, how are they responding to this?
Well, according to our own reporting, as well as a statement that the FBI released, they said they were investigating this attack, but they might not be able to respond to each victim. That kind of reinforces the point that, at least on the surface, and I keep reinforcing, on the surface, because in cyber, nothing is as it appears to be. But on the surface, it does seem as though this was a large-scale hack, and it's hard to respond to each victim, both by the perpetrator, REvil, and by the FBI, who are investigating. Now, we do know that our cyber capabilities, at least law enforcement cyber capabilities, are pretty significant, and I would imagine, as well as everybody I speak to, it kind of seems likely that they're tracing the various cryptocurrency wallets. It's a myth that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are anonymous. They are kind of pseudo-anonymous, and law enforcement agencies try to kind of track the trail of where currency goes after it has been handed over.
Well, we saw that they were pretty successful in sort of the last ransom breach that we had, and they were able to get a lot of the money back, I think, to the pipeline company, right? But do we know if any of the companies hit have paid? Are they likely to get their $70 million in cryptocurrency?
I'm not sure if they're likely to get the $70 million. Maybe. It's not out of the realm of possibility. This might be kind of an oh crap escape button key. The group saying, we just kind of want to back away slowly, like that Homer Simpson's gift. But it is fairly likely that a lot of these victims will pay. Look, the realities of ransomware attacks are that it exists because there's a market full of vulnerable machines and companies and government organizations that are willing to pay, often because their functions are fairly critical. It is expensive to update systems, computer systems, and it's expensive to maintain or retain an IT or cyber defense department. So a lot of companies are just vulnerable. And that means that there's going to be bad actors who use pretty easy to manipulate software like ransomware software that take advantage of these victims.
So REvil is the same group that's responsible for the recent cyber attack on the meat processing company JBS. At the time, our intelligence agency said this is a Russia-linked group and that they're based in the area. But being Russia-linked and being Russian government-linked are not necessarily the same thing. Have we learned any more about REvil and whether or not there is a Kremlin connection?
I'm glad you drew that distinction, Anne-Marie. That's really important. Look, it's often said, it's kind of a cliche that nothing happens, at least the shady criminal operations happen in Russia without Putin's at least tacit approval, if not explicit. We don't know the explicit connections that may or may not exist between this group and the Russian government. But we do know kind of this profile of cyber criminal groups. And oftentimes, although they can be linked to certain countries or feel kind of sponsored by, have an affiliation for, they can operate almost anywhere in the world. Think about remote work and what we've all done during the pandemic. Many of us use pretty common tech tools to work as teams and accomplish goals, business goals. That's a lot like these cybercrime organizations. They use pretty common tech tools to, instead of using above-the-board business techniques, they hack for business.
Dan Patterson, thank you so much.
Good to see you.